I wanted to do a video. This one is going to have to do with gender kind of construct and something I actually watched recently. But I did not do the video because I had things to do at the time. So I wanted to do this video. It's going to basically pertain to this video I watched. I think the person's name is like conservative radical black conservative or something like that. And that got me to thinking. The very people who complain about transgender people and things of that nature are the very people who seem to push the very thing that makes people want to, or the very thing that makes it more troublesome, basically, to live the gender that you were born. So, from my perspective, you know how I see it. I've always seen it like, technically, how can gender norms, which that was a major thing that was talked about, how can gender norms exist if they always change among different societies and not every man and every woman who's born biologically a man or a woman fits this gender norm. It's just most people fit it. Well, that doesn't mean anything. Heck, most people can drink milk. Does that mean men who can't drink milk are now not men? If most people like to celebrate their birthday, but some people don't, does that mean that now they're no longer people, or they're not men, or they're not women? No, it doesn't. What I'm trying to give an example of is just because most people can fit into the gender norm does not mean those who can't have something wrong with them, or they're not male, or they're not female. To me, there is no such thing as a social woman or a social man. To me, people are biologically what they are, you know, and that triggers people, I know. But that's my logical thought of sex, really. I can't think of it as a social idea because it's like, one, in every culture it changes. So if you go to one country, they'll be having the men wearing dresses, and then you go to another country, the women are wearing dresses. How the heck is this a part of being a woman or a man when you could go to another country and be another gender just off of mannerism? So that's why I'm like, if it's ever changing, it's not real. If everybody who is a woman who is born female can't even fit into this gender norm, how real is this gender norm? It's not real. So that's the thing. And then on top of it, these same people who complain about transgender people will then try and act like just because you don't want them to transition, now you're going to try and turn them into a whole different human being. This is the whole reason they say they're trying to find themselves and trying to be their authentic self, because all you do is try and push a gender norm that is not a part of them. If you continue to push something that is not them, of course people will push away, and they will try to be themselves in a way where you can accept it. That's why I feel like with transgender people often, it's like, well, they transition more to fit into the gender norms of society, because originally, as a biological male or a biological female who fits the gender norms of the opposite sex, they are not fitting in because they can't fit in as social men when they are biological women. But the thing is, why is there such a thing as a social man? Why can't people just be people? Why can't people just live their lives and be biologically whatever the heck they are? It's because of the very people complaining about the transgender people, saying, oh, you have to follow this and that and this and that and this and that to be the most feminine female and the most masculine man. And it's like, you go follow that, sweetie, but why are you telling everybody else to? Why are you trying to push your lifestyle onto everyone else? I think if people are more accepting of gender not really existing and just being you, we wouldn't have as much problems. Now, there's still dysphoria, and I understand that. I suffer from it myself. And, you know, with dysphoria, there's still that problem. Where it stems from, I always wonder. But just generally, to me, I just don't understand why people try to push the very thing that makes transgender people stick out even more, even if they didn't transition. Basically, all you're doing is pointing and proving that these people don't fit into society as the male or female sex they're born. You're proving yourself wrong by pushing an agenda that only works on you and doesn't work on the whole wide world because we're individuals. So, of course, not everyone fit the gender norm because we're individuals. So, that's just how I feel about that. I feel like you can be closed minded and stuff and try and act like, you're born male or you're born female, that's what you are. But when you start trying to act like gender norm is all the end all be all, and if you can't fit that as well, something's wrong with you, you're only validating that if someone transitions and is passable, you're going to accept them more than if they were their biological sex. So, in a sense, you support transgender people yourself. You're just too dumb to really realize that. And I don't mean that specifically to that user. I'm actually meaning that more to my mother. She's a lot like that, where she tries to push a gender norm, but then at the same time realize, she doesn't like the people when they're in their biological state. So you support them transitioning. You just don't want to admit you do. So that's all I have to say on that. Thanks for listening. Bye.